In the early 13th century, a powerful empire sprawled across Central Asia and parts of Persia, the Khwarazmian Empire. It included territories that are now Turkmenistan, Uzbekistan, Iran, and parts of Afghanistan, forming a formidable state under Shah Ala ad-Din Muhammad. With cities like Samarkand, Bukhara, and Balkh, the empire controlled major trade routes and held a strategic position. Yet, in 1218, the Khwarazmian Empire would make a fateful decision that would soon bring destruction to its lands, including what is now Afghanistan. Shah Ala ad-Din Muhammad, suspicious of Mongol intentions, executed Genghis Khan's ambassadors, a mistake that would unleash the Mongol wrath on his realm. Outraged by the treatment of his envoys, Genghis Khan launched a campaign of retribution against the Khwarazmian Empire in 1219. After devastating key cities like Samarkand and Bukhara in Central Asia, the Mongols turned their attention to regions within present-day Afghanistan. Why? Afghanistan held crucial routes through its mountain passes, giving access to the empire's inner lands and connecting Central Asia with Persia. The cities of Balkh, Bamiyan, Herat, and Ghazni were also known for their wealth and influence, making them valuable targets for Mongol forces. Afghanistan, in the early 13th century, was a land of fortresses and fierce independence. In the Khwarazmian Empire, the region that is now northern and western Afghanistan was considered part of Greater Khorasan and was in the empire's southeastern territories. While under Khwarazmian rule, it was home to many tribal societies and culturally diverse cities. Cities like Herat and Ghazni were bustling centers of art, scholarship, and trade, fortified and prepared to defend against outside threats. Afghan warriors were renowned for their resilience, with mountain tribes often resisting control from any central power. Genghis Khan's army would soon discover that Afghanistan was a land not easily conquered. In 1220, the Mongols entered Afghanistan, and the first to fall was Balkh, a city rich in history and known as the Mother of Cities. Despite its fortifications, Balkh was no match for the Mongol forces. Genghis Khan ordered the city's destruction, and a brutal massacre followed. This was part of a larger strategy. By instilling terror, the Mongols hoped to weaken the morale of neighboring cities and deter any thoughts of resistance. It was here that Afghan cities began to grasp the merciless nature of the Mongol army. As Mongol forces continued their campaign, they arrived at Bamiyan in 1221. Bamiyan was famous for its towering Buddha statues carved into cliffs, a center of Buddhist and cultural influence. But the Mongols saw only a city that needed to be subdued. During the siege, a pivotal event unfolded. Mutu Khan, Genghis Khan's grandson and a favorite, was killed by an Afghan defender. In his grief and rage, Genghis ordered Bamiyan to be completely destroyed. Not only was the city razed, but its population was massacred, and Bamiyan became known as the City of Sorrow. While terror forced some Afghan cities to surrender, others resisted fiercely. Herat and Ghazni were two of the most fortified cities in Afghanistan, known for their skilled defenders and resilient spirit. Herat initially repelled Mongol attacks, but after a prolonged siege, the Mongols broke through, leading to widespread destruction. Ghazni, with its proud legacy as a former capital of the Ghaznavid Empire, held out but eventually succumbed to Mongol siege tactics. In both cities, the Mongols implemented their typical punishment: destruction of fortifications, slaughter of defenders, and the displacement of survivors. Afghanistan's cities were falling, but its spirit of resistance endured. Though many cities had fallen, Afghanistan's tribal warriors adapted their strategy, retreating into the rugged mountains to conduct guerrilla warfare. They knew their land intimately and used it to their advantage, ambushing Mongol forces in narrow passes and vanishing into the terrain. These hit-and-run tactics slowed the Mongols' advance and made Afghanistan one of the most costly regions to control. Genghis Khan, used to quick victories, found Afghanistan's tribes to be an especially challenging adversary. After Genghis Khan's campaigns, the Mongols established control over key Afghan cities, integrating them into the Mongol Empire. They imposed local governance with appointed Mongol officials, demanded taxes, and maintained garrisons to enforce order. However, Afghanistan's tribal regions remained difficult to pacify. While cities like Balkh and Herat submitted to Mongol authority, many rural areas resisted and continued low-level insurgencies. The Mongols never fully subdued Afghanistan's mountainous territories, and pockets of resistance persisted, especially in regions like the Hindu Kush. In 1227, Genghis Khan died, leaving his empire to his successors. His death sparked a period of instability within the Mongol leadership, with different heirs vying for power. Afghanistan, a land that had never fully accepted Mongol rule, saw this as an opportunity to assert its independence. Tribal leaders and city defenders organized to resist the weakened Mongol authority. Although the Mongols would return under different khans, Afghanistan's fiercely independent tribes maintained a cycle of rebellion and resistance that would outlast even the Mongol Empire. By the late 13th century, the Mongol Empire had begun to fracture. The Afghan people seized the opportunity to reclaim autonomy, with cities like Herat and Kabul falling out of Mongol control as local leaders reasserted power. The tribes in Afghanistan's mountains continued their independent traditions, resisting any attempts at centralized control. While the Mongols had left their mark, Afghanistan had once again proven its resilience, a land difficult to conquer but impossible to hold. The Mongol invasion left a lasting impact on Afghanistan, one marked by destruction but also by resilience. Though cities were razed and populations displaced, the Afghan spirit of independence endured. The Mongol campaigns highlighted Afghanistan's harsh reality, a land where invaders could seize cities but struggled to subdue its people. Afghanistan's resistance to the Mongols became a symbol of its enduring legacy, a region of defiance, unity, and cultural resilience that would echo through the centuries. Enjoyed this video? Like and subscribe for more contents on the Mongols.